Well, we welcome you in here to Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, as we get ready for what should be a great matchup here tonight. Here on Zaleski Sports, it's going to be the Assumption Royals playing at home, and they are hosting the Thunderbirds of Iola-Scandinavia. Tonight's pregame show sponsored by Next Step Prosthetics, providing prosthetic and orthotics throughout central Wisconsin. Take your next step and contact them today.
Team members in our lives, whether it's this or that or friends, and he's my team member that looked for my best interest. And he said, we're going to get you up walking without the walker. And I'm like, oh, really? And he says, yeah, we are. I'm really grateful from the bottom of my heart to Shai and his staff because they made the impossible seem possible.
Call to set up a free, no obligation evaluation. Next Step Prosthetics, the fit for you.
Welcome in once more to Zaleski Sports for some Friday Night Lights action. My name is Connor Philpy. Thank you again for tuning in as we get ready for this matchup between the Assumption Royals and the Iola-Scandinavia Thunderbirds. We'll take a look here first at the away team. Both of these two teams 1-2 overall this season, hoping to be the team to get up to the 500 mark, but only one team can do that here tonight. 1-2 overall are the Thunderbirds, and they are 0-1 in conference play. They started out their season with a 28-8 victory over Scotian. I practiced that multiple times before tonight's game started, but I am not from Wisconsin, and some of these are learning curves for me. But I do know that they lost to WIAA. That is one that I know I'm right about. WIAA Fremont in a 14-36 loss, and then did lose in a shutout loss to a very good Abbotsford team in the last game of the season so far leading up to this point. So they are hoping to build off the momentum of the last time they played this Assumption team, a 41-0 victory last season. That was a home game, but of course things can change drastically from the course of one season to another, as Assumption now a top 20 team in the Zaleski rankings. And so we'll take a look here at the keys to the game for Iola-Scandinavia. First one, I talked to head coach Scott Erickson. He gave me a great report of how he felt this team was going to play here tonight, so I thank him for taking the time to talk with me about that. And really for the Thunderbirds, one of the major pieces for them is playing assignment football. You know, this is a Assumption team, and I'll talk about them in a second, where they play with a lot of RPO, a lot of pass option opportunities due to how well they run the football. They're going to have to find some way to stay on their toes and stop the run while also being wary of that RPO. They also need to get in an offensive rhythm and avoid turnovers. You talk about a little bit of the momentum that they are unable to gain in their last two games. Need to find a way to get that momentum back and get in that rhythm with running the football. And they also need to overcome some injuries. One of the biggest ones being Kors Loken. He is averaging 30.8 receiving yards per game, one of the better tight ends and receivers in the state. And so he's going to have a huge loss there. He injured his wrist last week, and so that is going to be one they're going to have to work through. On top of that, a couple other injuries where, Coach Erickson was talking about how these players are going to be mostly playing out of position a lot of times in this game. They're going to have to find ways to get over that. And it looks like we're going to be turning things over to the PA pretty soon here, and then I will finish up talking about the Assumption Royals on the other end of that.
Welcome to Southwood County Stadium. Tonight's contest features the Thunderbirds from Iola-Scandinavia and our very own Royals from Assumption High School. Would everyone please stand for the prayer? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Father in heaven, we ask your blessing on the game we are about to play. Thank you for the opportunity to compete and bring out the best in each other. Please keep everyone safe from injury, harm, and disrespect. For our athletes, coaches, fans, and officials, give each of us the charity, humility, and courage to play, coach, cheer, and referee in a manner which is pleasing you, giving our absolute best for your honor and glory. St. Michael the Archangel, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. High school athletics are eventful. As members of the Central Wisconsin Conference, please remember that players, coaches, and officials try to do their best. Let's respect their efforts. Thank you. Please remain standing and join in the singing of our national anthem. All right, now for this evening's starting lineups.
Now we'll send things over here to the starting lineups.
Number 2, senior Jensen Rice.
Is going to be Jensen Rice for Iola-Scandinavia,
Number
starting
8,
at quarterback.
sophomore, Wyatt Wahlberg.
Number 8, Wyatt Wolberg.
Number 13, junior
Number 13,
Aiden
Aiden Bowen.
Number 15,
Number
sophomore,
15,
Brogan Gullickson.
Brogan Gullickson.
Number 18, junior
Number 18,
Drake Stylen.
Drake Stylen.
Number 20, sophomore
Number 20, Chase Timdahl.
Number 51, junior Tanner Camper.
Number 51, Tanner Campert.
52, senior Davis
Number
Anderson.
52, Davis Anderson.
Number 65, freshman Jax Burgoyne.
Number 65, Jax Borgoyne.
Number 77, junior Edwin Hendrickson.
Number 77, Edwin Hendrickson.
And number 79, junior Braden Erickson.
And number 79, Braden
Head coach,
Erickson.
Scott Erickson.
Scott Erickson, of course, heading up
And now
this
on offense
Thunderbird
for your
squad.
Assumption Royals.
And now the home team, the Assumption Royals.
Number 3, junior Braxton Steiner.
Number 3, Braxton Steiner, the starting QB for this team.
Number 6, junior Trey France.
Number 6, Trey France.
Number 7, junior Wiley
Number 7,
Cornwell.
Wiley Cornwell.
Number 8, sophomore Reed Sauter.
Number 8, Reed Sauter.
Number 9, sophomore Kalen Otts.
Number 9, Kalen Ott.
Number 33, junior Camden Martin.
Number 33, Camden Martin.
Number 55, freshman Odin France.
Number 55, Odin France.
56, junior Gabe Hockey.
Number 56, Gabe Hauke. Excuse me, that's hockey.
65, junior Brandon Morbacher.
Number 65, Brennan Morbacher.
71, senior Quan Tran.
Number 71, Quan Tran.
And 76, sophomore Lucas Lausen.
And number 76, Lucas Lausen.
Head coach.
Head coach, of course, Jeff Sullivan. And so we'll move things over here to, before we do that, we'll go over the players to watch here for the Thunderbirds. It's going to be Jensen Rice, Jensen Rice, Jensen Rice for the majority of this game. He leads the team in rushing yards by over double. He leads the team in passing touchdowns and in total TDs at 5. And he is a player that is going to have to step up even more with some of these injuries. On top of that, Billy Myers leads the team in tackles per game at 8.5. And so those are the main players to watch for the Thunderbirds as we get ready to kick things off here. Take a look quickly at Assumption. They're 1-2, 1-0 in conference play. Started off their season with 2 rough losses, 38-13 versus Marquesan and then 36-0 versus Pepin Alma. But they are ranked number 20 in the state now after a very impressive looking win, 26-12 at Pacelli for their first conference play win of the season. Assumption's keys to the game. First, they want to build on the momentum that they gained from that last win while also making sure they block out some of the noise in a negative sense, making sure that they stay with their game and not getting a little bit ahead of themselves with their new, fresh ranking here from Zaleski Sports. And, of course, a steady dose of Wiley Cornwell will be a huge point of this team. And on top of that, taking advantage of the RPO. You know, one of the bigger parts of this team's offense last year was this season, last game, was Braxton Steiner being able to work around the edge after Wiley Cornwell would go one-dimensional with it. As ready or not, here we go. A squib kick to start things off. Having trouble with the snap and diving on top of it was a Thunderbird player. Players to watch for the Assumption Royals as the offense for the Thunderbirds comes out onto the field. Like I mentioned, Braxton Steiner, the starting quarterback for this team, Wiley Cornwell, the running back, and also overall playmaker Camden Martin really showed out in that last game. You know, I had the privilege of calling that one as well, the big win versus Pacelli. Camden Martin was the one that fell on top of the onside kick to start out the game. He had a 3-yard touchdown in the first half and then finished things off with a dagger touchdown run of over 60 yards to finish things out, last Friday. So starting things out here, Jansen Rice will hand things off to the near side of the field, and Aiden Bowen is not going to get far. In fact, he gets stopped for a loss.
Ball carried by Aiden Bowen for a short gain.
And so this Assumption defense, knowing full well that if they can find a way to stop the run, that they are in pretty good shape here in this game. Of course, that's usually the case for high school football, but even that much more the case if they can stop Jensen Rice in all aspects of this game. He is going to be their X factor, and just as I say that, he runs to the near side, and he's going to get loose. He's got daylight, 20, 10, all the way to the end zone for the touchdown. Iola-Scandinavia, right out of the gate, scores a touchdown on the second play of the game. What a way to jumpstart this offense for Jensen Rice, the X factor for this team, with yet another punctuation mark, this time to start off the game versus Assumption. And that was just one where it was just a circus act. He was able to tiptoe across that sideline. I was almost sure that he was pushed out, and he was able to stay in bounds. The agility of that is incredible, as they will now go for two. Rice will take it himself now, running up through the middle for the touchdown, and what a way to start things off here for the Thunderbirds.
Point conversion is good.
And so early action here on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard.
Thunderbirds 8, the Royals 0.
And we'd like to remind you here that tonight's game brought to you by Wisconsin River Orthopedics. For all of your orthopedic needs, place your trust in Wisconsin River Orthopedics. You'll find advanced, comprehensive orthopedic care and specialized medical feedback on any injury. Learn more at WROinstitute.com. And also by Bruce Orthodontics. Bruce Orthodontics provides comprehensive orthodontic care for patients of all ages. They are now accepting new patients at their Marshfield office and accept most insurances. At Bruce Orthodontics, they're changing lives one smile at a time. Set up a free consultation today. And so Iola-Scandinavia is eager to get back out onto the field after that electrifying run by Rice. And number two, making a mark instantly. If you're just settling into the game and thinking, only 5 minutes late, I'm all good. Well, you already missed a pretty big touchdown, but all good. Happy to have you here on Zaleski Sports, as that kick is going to be out of bounds. It was already right around the 35-yard line. And so that's not going to be that much worse for that Iola-Scandinavia team as they trot out now on defense. And so now the pressure will come onto the Thunderbirds to stop this very volatile Assumption Royals offense.
Or 41.
Of course, like I mentioned, led by Braxton Steinert. He is a junior for this team. Mentioned, or didn't mention yet, that both of these two teams are fairly young. Assumption with only 2 seniors and Thunderbirds with only 4 seniors, but plenty of sophomores and juniors who are looking to step up to that next level. And certainly Steinert and Cornwell have done that tremendously, as this one is going to be taken by Steinert himself. He's going to shake a few defenders and fall for a gain of about 6. Make that actually 7 on that first run, and he's now trying to set the tone early.
Braxton Steinert picks up 8 on the play.
So I'll make it a 2nd and 2. That was a gain of 8 on the play. And the head coach, Jeff Sullivan, of this team, got to interview him last Friday after that win versus Pacelli. He talked about the fight of this team, the fact that they never felt that they were out of it when they were down at one point in that game to Pacelli. Running forward there was Cornwell for that first down. We talk about that in the pregame show, and that's exactly what I was talking about, just the ability. Not only do you have 2 very well-versed runners on this team in the running quarterback of Steinert and Wiley Cornwell, but you have that one-dimension versus 3-dimensional style where Cornwell's going to run it down your throat and go full vertical right up the middle, and then Steinert's going to hit that speed along the edges, and it's just such a tough combination to stop. As Steinert's going to try and take it himself here, and this time nicely tackled, and that is Jensen Rice, the quarterback on the other end, making things happen on the defensive side of the ball.
Short gain on the play.
And just so impressive to watch, and it happens very often here in a lot of these central Wisconsin teams, some smaller teams, and so that forces a lot of these players to be two-way players. And so to see so many of these players play 48 minutes of these games, I can barely get up my stairs in the morning, certainly impressive, and the effort they give on both sides of the ball, incredible, as you see Rice make the tackle after running for 70 yards. And another stop here of Steinert, and excited about that one on that tackle is number 79, Braden Erickson,
Braxton Steinert with a keeper, no gain on the play.
as he is another junior for this Iola-Scandinavia team. So now we have a 3rd down and 9 from the Thunderbird 45-yard line. We'll see what Assumption does here. Like I mentioned, it's a thing that both of these teams don't want to be in very often, is the situation where they are expected to run and expected to pass, and that pass is anticipated on the other end of the ball. But you never can be too sure with how good these rushing teams are that they might just try and break one. This one will be a toss on the other end. Cutting past one defender and almost getting to that line to gain was Camden Martin, the other X factor that I mentioned in the pregame. He's going to get close enough where I think Assumption's going to go for it. At that point in the field where, especially in high school, you're certainly not going to go for this kick all the way at the 37 and you're only 1 yard away. Seems like almost a no-brainer for this Assumption team, especially after right on the other end, the Thunderbirds just pretty easily scored, knowing that this might be a little more of a shootout kind of game. They won their last game by only giving up 12 points. Motion. And now lining up with the I formation. And running that one right up the middle for an easy gain, and then running forward for another 5, a 7-yard gain that time. And that will move the chains. It was another Wiley Cornwell run. And so that was huge there to pick up the yardage they did on 3rd down. And again, showing that motion when you're stacking the box against Cornwell, just getting all that space on the outside. It just continues to be such a 1-2 punch for this team. Handing this one off and spinning forward, getting a gain of about 4. Even stood up at the line that time, able to still twist and wriggle out of the pressure and falling forward for about 4. 2nd and 6 now from the 26-yard line. And like we mentioned pregame, multiple players that got hurt recently for Iola-Scandinavia. One of them being Kors Loken, who also plays linebacker on the other side of the ball. This one running to the outside, tackled after a gain of about 3 or 4 that time. As that is once again going to be Braxton Steinert taking him himself. And so it sets up a 3rd down, but once more for this Thunderbird defense, it's another 3rd down and manageable. They'll have to find ways to get this Assumption team into those 3rd and longs and actually turn them into 4th and longs, knowing that they're going to go for it most of the time, especially at this area of the field. So here we go, 3rd and 2 with 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter in the Key Savings Bank scoreboard. This one will be handed off, I believe, Cornwell once more, and that will pick up the 1st down.
Wiley Cornwell, 1st down. Royals.
Wiley Cornwell standing at 5'10", but 204 pounds. That stature is exactly what you want out of that angry running back. I believe most people refer to that kind of running back as almost like a bowling ball, just kind of right down the middle, wreaking havoc. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line of the Thunderbirds. Taking it himself once more is Steinert, as he is going to wrestle past a defender and force it all the way up around the 10-yard line.
Braxton Steinert goes around the corner.
So that was a gain of about 6 or 7. Looks like closer to 7.
On that play.
Around the 11-yard line for a 2nd down and short. 2nd and 3 to be specific. And this will be a constant and brutal battle of the trenches between these two teams throughout the course of this game. A little bit of motion taking himself is Steinert. Can he race past defenders? He is able to get it for about 2 yards. There is a flag on the play. Either way, it wouldn't have been enough to pick up the 1st down, but would be a big difference between 2nd and short and 2nd and long.
Holding on the Royals.
And it will be holding on the Assumption Royals. And so that is a brutal one for Assumption, as they went from, even though that wasn't a 1st down, it still would have been a 3rd and 1 or maybe 2 after Steinert was still able to gain some yardage. And so now they're forced to go all the way back behind the line. When you're a running heavy team, those penalties are absolutely brutal. You're trying to go with that 4 yards, 3 yards approach and just churn out these 1st downs. Steinert once again taking it himself, slicing through once more and able to get a decent chunk of that yardage back, as he will fall right around the 14-yard line of the Thunderbirds and will set up a much more manageable 3rd down, but still a 3rd and 5 or 6
on that play.
nonetheless.
About a 3rd and 6.
That is a 3rd and 6 officially, as we already are down to 3:30 remaining in the first quarter on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard. We all expected this to be a pretty fast-moving game, as Cornwell will take it, and he is gone for the touchdown. Wiley Cornwell, feel like he wasn't even touched on that one, bursting through for 6. And that is our first Serve Pro touchdown of the game. Call Serve Pro for the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration. Serve Pro like it never happened. And Cornwell racing through, and Iola-Scandinavia didn't even know what happened to them before he was already in the end zone. And that was a mixture of the power of Cornwell, but also some amazing blocking by that offensive front, as they will now go for 2 to try and tie up this game. Steinert will take it himself, trying to power pass, might have done a better job maybe cutting up and using that speed to try and get to that pylon, but tough judgment decision there as it is 8-6. But one thing we learned on that possession, it is most likely going to be a slugfest as we get ready for our next Thunderbird possession. We'll turn things to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back to the action here on Zaleski Sports.
Wirtz & Company of Wisconsin Rapids is ready to construct your dreams. Wirtz & Company will give you peace of mind with that much-needed roof repair. Have a remodel dream for what used to be your favorite room in the house? Living area, kitchen, bath, bedroom. If you can dream it, Wirtz & Company will make it come true. Wirtz & Company will also build your next home. Wirtz & Company of Wisconsin Rapids, 715-213-1281, and Wirtz & Company on Facebook.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Rapids as we have a beautiful facility here on the Lincoln High School campus. Lincoln High School and Assumption Royal Athletics sharing this field for soccer and football, and I believe lacrosse as well. As we get ready here for another Thunderbird possession, the Thunderbirds only took them 2 plays on their last possession to be able to score their first touchdown of the game. It was a 60-plus yard scamper by quarterback Jensen Rice, and he was able to get the Thunderbirds on the board first, but Assumption with a little more of a slow, methodical drive, but doing everything they needed to do, and that is just their style. You know, they can hit some home runs when they want to, and the Thunderbirds will hit home runs pretty often, but Assumption wanting to command time of possession and really score still at will, but just in a way that is a lot more taxing for the defense, as this one will land around the 23-yard line, picked up, and a nice tackle on that one. As the do-it-all player Camden Martin, the junior, makes another nice play there.
Chase Tyndall on the return.
And so you talk about the intangibles of a starting quarterback at any level, and one of the first things you talk about is the ability to take any situation and run with it. And that was what Jensen Rice did, quite literally, running for that touchdown, but understanding that he is pretty thin on both sides of the ball with his team. He wants to not only make things easier for his defense, but knowing he has to take the offense kind of on his back with one of their top receivers being out right now. Rice will try and run forward, gain of about 1 on that first play of the drive.
Jensen Rice for the carry.
And not sure what's going on over there on the sideline. Hopefully just stretching something out over there is Braxton Steinert. Don't mean to worry anyone that if there doesn't have to be any reason to worry. Not sure exactly if it's just something that's getting taped up over there or what's going on. He's kind of just crouching on a knee right now, so we'll keep an eye on that. Faking that one, running forward, getting some blocks, and cutting a few more times all the way to the 40-yard line is Jensen Rice. And while that other run was speedy and powerful, this one was very slow and calculated. Good patient running, waiting for those blocks to happen for him, and both of those methods are very effective in different ways, as they will kind of hurry up to the line here with a first down from the 41-yard line. 2:13 remaining in the first quarter. Faking it once more. Slippery, escaping away, and he is going to run for more, and he potentially has daylight here. 20, 10, diving for the touchdown. He's got another one. Oh my goodness, what an early performance here by Jensen Rice. And that one looked even more impressive, if that's even possible, from that first one, because it wasn't just speed and tiptoeing past the out-of-bounds marker. He was able to cut back to the middle of the field, slip past multiple defenders that could have gotten a tackle on him, and he was able to cut all the way to the other end of the field and then outrace defenders. He used every aspect of what makes him a good quarterback on that one. And so it already is a 8-point game due to the fact that the Thunderbirds got the 2-point conversion on their first drive and Assumption didn't. So they're going for 2 in order to get this to already be a 2-possession game. Handing this one off. Some misdirection actually fooled me too, and that was a big one there, a big stop by Assumption off the tackle from Jaden Johnson over there, the senior. And so that was a big one to keep this a 1-possession game, and Assumption now going to have to respond on the other end of the football. But Wirtz & Company of Wisconsin Rapids, ready to construct your dreams. If you can dream it, Wirtz & Company will make it come true. Wirtz & Company of Wisconsin Rapids, 715-213-1281, and Wirtz & Company on Facebook. Metalco in Wisconsin Rapids is one of North America's largest aluminum belay and slab producers. Come get to know Metalco and how their mission, visions, and values set them apart. Find your future job at Metalco and apply online at metalco.com. For 90 years, Valley Communities Credit Union has been part of your hometown team. Local, trusted, and strong, Valley Communities Credit Union, where community comes first. Federally insured by NCUA. Infinity Exteriors, installing peace of mind with roofing, siding, and windows built to last. Saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors, we guarantee quality you can trust. Heading back onto the field now, Assumption is going to have to find another way to respond, and Jensen Rice just taking over this game. He already has, you don't have the official stats anywhere, but already 100-plus rushing yards in this game. That last one coming from right around the 41-yard line. The first one was from even deeper in their own territory. This one a squib, fielded nicely and taken back by Johnson. He won't get far as he falls right around the 41, 42-yard line. And so here comes Assumption once more. We'll see what they can do on the offensive side of the football. It's looking like it's going to have to be a high-scoring affair for them. We got 1:53 remaining in this first quarter on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard. And we'll see at what point do they maybe try for that ever so dangerous RPO. We know they have receivers that are very capable of making that happen. Steinert fakes it himself, though, and he's going to cut up now. Still not down, all the way inside Thunderbird territory to the 32, 33-yard line. Braxton Steinert understanding that he is going to have to make things happen for his own team, and we talked about on the other side those intangibles of being a leader and understanding that, you know, this is a tall task for this defense to overcome with one of the better do-it-all quarterbacks in Central Wisconsin on the other end, and he's trying to show that he can do the exact same thing for this team. 1st and 10 now from the 33-yard line. 1:12 remaining and ticking here in the first quarter, as rumbling forward for a gain of 5 is Cornwell. And once again, you're seeing just Cornwell being met right around the line of scrimmage, and somehow he falls to the ground, and you see him get up halfway to the first down marker. This one will be closer to a 4-yard gain, so 2nd and 6 officially from the 29-yard line. Thunderbirds once again working defensively in their own territory. Cornwell once more in the backfield. Steinert will now take it. He's going to end up flipping it, running out of real estate there. But before that, he shakes off some defenders and will fall all the way into the 14-yard line territory. Camden Martin making things happen, and I have to be smarter going forward, and I should have learned by now to not count these players down until they are down and the whistle is blown, because there's so many times where I see a player coming up from behind and thinking to myself, that's got to be a tackle, and it's not. These players just bouncing off of defenders and finding ways to stay up and getting those ever so precious 5 or 6 more yards on every play. And that will do it for the first quarter, but Assumption with another strong showing to start off this drive on offense. They're trying to keep up with the Thunderbirds and the mighty Jensen Rice, and we'll see if they can continue to do that in enemy territory here on Zaleski Sports.
At R&R Flooring and Furniture, we sell products that look good and products that last.
You want a great selection at a great price and a company that stands behind their products? You will find Wolfcraft, Ashley, Marshfield Furniture, and more.
Looking to get the best sleep of your life? We have a mattress for you. Get a 15-year non-paraded hybrid mattress for only 25 cents a night, and we also carry adjustable beds. When it comes to flooring, furniture, and mattresses, it's easy. Come to R&R Flooring and Furniture today. That's all it takes.
Be a part of a Marshfield tradition at Maple Fall Fest, September 13th and 14th. Start each morning with a potato or buttermilk pancake breakfast and shop over 125 handmade arts and craft vendors. Also, make sure to check out the Kids Zone, yummy food court with maple specialties, beer garden, and a comedic grilling show with TV's Mad Dog and Meryl. Don't miss the 33rd Annual Maple Fall Fest, Saturday and Sunday, September 13th and 14th at Wildwood Park and Zoo in Marshfield. Learn more at visitmarshfield.com and follow us on Facebook.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Rapids as we get ready for the second quarter. This is a pretty fast-moving quarter. Still only 7:27 p.m. here as the sun is starting to set, or it has set. And we are starting to get into that point where not quite daylight savings yet, but the sky is getting darker sooner here in central Wisconsin as we get ready for some cooler weather. And the weather heated up a little bit more as this week went on. Last week was kind of a chillier night, but another relatively warm one here tonight. So here come Assumption, threatening once more from the 14-yard line of the Thunderbirds. Steiner will take it himself, and he will dive for the end zone. He will not quite get there, but a nice, powerful run there, 13 yards. Closer to 12 yards on the play. That will set things up from the 2-yard line.
Picks up a first and goal for the Royals.
Steiner using that speed once again on the near side of the field this time. And it's such a easy 1-2 combination because it's pretty much the same play every time. You're going to either hand it off down the middle to Cornwell or you're going to fake it and run on either side of the field, but it's kind of just a guessing game if you're that defense. First and goal, handing this one off and powering into the end zone. It is once again Wiley Cornwell with the touchdown, as he is going to keep Assumption rolling offensively, and we have ourselves a shootout here in Wisconsin Rapids. And Assumption, of course, going to go for it here, 14-12. And so looking to tie this one up at 14. And that was another Serve Pro touchdown. Call Serve Pro for the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration. Serve Pro like it never happened. Assumption on the 2-point conversion, as Steiner will take it himself. Not sure if he ever even touched a Thunderbird defender on that one, into the end zone, and we are tied up 14-14 here to start out the second quarter. Only took them 2 plays in the second quarter to get back into the end zone, and this is going to be a fun one if both offenses continue to play like this throughout the course of this game. And like you saw in the last commercial break, Maple Fall Fest, September 13th and 14th in Marshfield, so that is this weekend, tomorrow and Sunday. Make sure you do not miss that, as we are going to have arts and crafts vendors, the Kids Zone, and yummy food. Maple Fall Fest, September 13th and 14th at Wildwood Park and Zoo in Marshfield. Football on Zaleski Sports also brought to you by Ritchie Funeral Home. Ritchie Funeral Home, been serving family after family in Nakusa and Wisconsin Rapids since 1957. Find the very best in personal service at Ritchie Funeral Home or find them online at ritchiefuneralhome.com. That's spelled RITCHAY, funeralhome.com. Also, Econ Electric, your local residential, commercial, and industrial electric service provider. Since 1970, people have turned to Econ Electric. That's Econ Electric in Wisconsin Rapids. And also by Ridgetop Exteriors. Just like these players bring their best to the field, Ridgetop Exteriors brings top-tier performance to your home. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors, Ridgetop Exteriors has the winning strategy to protect your home. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com. And so, we knew that both of these teams were going to come out swinging. I didn't expect quite this level, as not saying this is necessarily going to happen, because not only have these two teams been scoring, but they've also been scoring quick. But technically, these two teams are pretty much on pace to score 28 points each in this first half. Now, of course, this last drive going slightly into the second quarter, and also these two teams will most likely adjust a little bit throughout the course of this one, but it is likely going to be a smackdown to go all the way into the fourth quarter, and hoping this is a close game all the way through to make this an exciting one, as this one will bounce and eventually gets fielded, cutting it to the middle of the field and not able to get much more. Trying to take it all the way to that near side, but only ends up gaining about 2 or 3 after receiving that one. And so now we see the Thunderbirds coming back out onto the field. So one of the main things that we're wondering here is this ball ever going to have to be taken out of Jensen Rice's hands? Obviously, he's always going to be involved, but at what point do we see this Assumption defense force the Thunderbirds' hand to not be able to rely on him quite as much? As Rice will now take it himself and will gain about 4 or 5 on that play. And of course, we talk about the size of these two teams. You know, a very shallow bench for both of these two teams, as most teams are in this area, kind of some smaller organizations, and that definitely becomes even more of a problem when you're playing this brand of football. You're running the football up and down the field, you know, on both sides of the football. When you're playing every single down of this game, it makes it really difficult, as Rice is going to get stopped. He's able to let this ball go, and then he's going to get leveled. And then a flag is going to be thrown. I know at least Camden Martin was involved in that play. Might have also been Kalen Ott on that one. As getting lit up there, not sure who that was on that end of the field, but Rice, seeing that he was about to get tackled, trying to go with some razzle-dazzle, and not sure what that penalty was. It might have been a unnecessary roughness penalty. And I certainly did not see where on that player he was hit. If it was just the hit itself, I don't agree with that. But if it was something to the head or neck area, of course, I didn't see how close it was to that. But either way, it is going to be a pretty massive blow here for Assumption, as they were on the precipice of having a third and relatively long here for this Thunderbirds team. Would have been the first time they really made them feel uncomfortable at any point in this game. But instead, it's going to be another first down for the Thunderbirds, as Rice will escape pressure. He'll throw this one to the near side of the field, escaping and then getting tackled out of bounds. That's going to be another penalty on Assumption. Aiden Bowen scampering for about 5 or 6. Able to sidestep and get a few more before going out of bounds. It was a gain of 5, but it'll probably be more, on the late shove out of bounds by the Royals. And these are some penalties they can't afford to give up. It looked like there was a couple times in this drive now that they were corralling this Thunderbird team. Refs will continue to talk about it. Block in the back on Iola-Scandinavia. And it looks like they are not going to call that late hit out of bounds. It was just a block in the back against the Thunderbirds. And that's going to be the only thing that we see, as it looked like stepping out of bounds there was Bowen, and from what I saw, it was pretty late shove. And so taking it once more is Rice. He'll throw this one now to the other side of the field for Bowen, and he gets tackled well behind the line once more. That was a spot penalty on the hold, so it wasn't a full 10 yards. It was a 1st and 12.
Pass is complete to Aiden Bowen.
Or excuse me, 17.
No gain
And
on
then
that play.
tackled for no gain, so it will remain now 2nd and 17 from inside Thunderbird territory. We'll see what Rice does now that he's backed up a little bit. He will take it himself again, and good corralling, actually not good corralling, as Rice is able to break free and run for the first down. It's so difficult. You've got just a horde of Royals chasing after you, and you just have too much speed. It's so difficult to stop when you have that much more speed than anyone else on the field. There is some laundry on the field once more, though. It's going to be another holding penalty, and maybe that is why Rice was able to get so much space on that side of the field. And so take everything I just said back, as the Thunderbirds are now going to be forced back even further. It will remain 2nd down as it was a holding penalty. And it looks like they are going to bring it back a full 10 yards. So that must have been a holding penalty behind the line of scrimmage. So count it if you're a mathematician. That is about 27. Thank you. Someone that might have been in school a little bit more recently than me, or maybe I'm just an idiot. But 3rd down and very long now for the Thunderbirds. Gaining a couple, but still at the 30-yard line. So that is 25. That I can count on my own. You know, if you use those solid black white lines, believe it or not, they're 5 each. Really? 5 times 5 is 25. That I still do know. I might have been out of school for a couple years now, but 3rd and 25 here, as it looks like now a timeout is going to be called for the Thunderbirds. We'll take a quick timeout with them and be right back here on Zaleski Sports.
Northwoods Windows has been helping homeowners all over central and northern Wisconsin with replacement windows, patio entry doors, and more. We've done installations in over 10,000 homes, including cottages, churches, and businesses. Our installers are trained, experienced professionals, and we're an authorized dealer of home improvement products from some of the top manufacturers. We offer free in-home consultations, no-pressure sales, honest pricing, and a job well done. Contact Northwood Windows today and see why you should choose us.
The Auto Service Specialist at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service can change your oil, fix your brakes, align your vehicle, make that check engine light go away, and more. Great service from great people at Sherrill Tire and Auto Service. Find your location at SherrillTire.com.
Welcome back as we finish off the timeout here by the Thunderbirds. They're looking to see what they want to do here on a 3rd and very long. And if there's any situation for the Thunderbirds to try and throw this ball, it's this one, although you've also seen some pretty impressive chunk plays picked up by the Thunderbirds. That, of course, is not from this far deep, so have to see what happens here. As it looks like, it feels to me like we're either going to see a pretty easy stop or something spectacular here, if I had to guess, as they might be going for broke here pretty deep in their own territory. Rice dropping back. He's able to escape. And he will not get even to the original line of scrimmage. Looks like it's going to be about a 4th and 11. I would expect the Thunderbirds to punt the ball from here, although Jensen Rice staying on the field. And they might be going for it here unless they It's often hard to tell with how much these teams utilize players on all aspects of the ball, and it is going to be a punt. So smart decision there by the Thunderbirds, as this one is going to fall, and unfortunately for the Thunderbirds will fall out of bounds. That would have taken a pretty healthy bounce in their favor had it landed, but it is going to be a pretty quick turn of possession, and from where they got the ball, it almost would have been worth it to try and throw this one, but that is all hindsight. And so the Royals, with a big stop there, it seems like in this kind of a game, every single stop is going to be crucially important, as the first 4 drives of this game all resulted in touchdowns between these two squads. 7:56 remaining in this second quarter on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard. Steiner decides to take it himself, and he is going to cut it all the way to the far side of the field. He's got some daylight, and he's going to be tackled right around the 35-yard line. It's going to be a gain of about 33 yards. And so that is going to be a big gain, as I talked early about how Assumption, as this is going to be a timeout taken, we'll stay with you here. Talked about how Assumption started out that first drive as kind of the team that wanted to go more slow, methodical, commanding time of possession, working their way down the field, but then holes really started to open up in this Iola-Scandinavia defense, and we talked early on in the game with Scott Erickson pregame about how they did have some holes. They were dealing with some injuries and how that was going to be a factor for this team on the defensive side of the ball. And we've seen those kind of open up more and more as these players for the Thunderbirds get more and more exhausted. And so we'll see if the Thunderbirds can have some defensive success like Assumption did on their last defensive possession, but that remains to be seen. Williams Plumbing and Heating is located and operated right here in Wisconsin Rapids. For all of your plumbing and heating needs, why look anywhere else? Call Williams Plumbing and Heating or find them online at williamsplumbingwr.com. And just like these players bring their best to the field, Ridgetop Exteriors brings top-tier performance to your home. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors, Ridgetop Exteriors has the winning strategy to protect your home. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com. And this game also brought to you by Nakusa Port Edward State Bank. They proudly support our local athletes and their families. From business to personal banking and everywhere in between, let Nakusa Port Edward State Bank work for you. And so Assumption back in the huddle, ball at the 33-yard line as they are trying to gain the momentum here at home. We'll see if they can make something happen in these next few plays. Still plenty of time left to go here in the second quarter. And Cornwell running this one. Got a little bit distracted there as I thought there was a light that turned off, but it was the light for another field here in this great Wisconsin Rapids complex. There's baseball fields, softball fields all over the place here, and great place to take in all kinds of high school sports action. And one of those lights turned off. Thought we were going to go dark like the Super Bowl a few years back, but we still are all good to go. It is now fully dark here in Wisconsin Rapids. And so now officially Friday Night Lights. Cornwell once more in the backfield on a 2nd and 9. In Thunderbird territory. Some motion here. They will sweep it to the motion man. And getting some real estate, there is a flag down. As that for the time being will be a first down. It was Camden Martin running the ball, and it is going to be holding. And so that is a brutal one there for the Royals. We saw those penalties spell disaster for the Thunderbirds on their side of the field. Thunderbirds looked like they were in pretty good shape on that last possession, and then 2 straight holding calls brought them all the way back to the 27. And then second and 27, third and 27, nothing much you can do. So with a second and about 15, 16 here, Assumption's going to have to find a way to get some chunk yardage in these next couple plays. Steinert is going to take it himself. He's going to get a little bit back, but still a gain of only 3 there. So we have a third and 13 now. They're going to have to find a way to get a good chunk of change here. If they can get close enough, this is certainly 4-down territory, but even from this close to the end zone, can't imagine they would try for it from this distance. So I would guess about trying to get 5 or 6 here on this play. But one thing before another, as they're going to try and pick up this first down first and foremost, and then see what happens from there. Very tight formation here as there is more motion. They're going to hand this one off and stood up at the line. Nice play that time by Tanner Kampert, a junior for the Thunderbirds, able to stonewall Assumption at the line. So 4th down and 12, but it is a unique situation as it is from the 35 of the Thunderbirds. And so Assumption will try and decide, is it worth it to try and pin him deep with still 5:06 remaining, or are they going to try to keep the game in their own hands and go for it here? Given the fact that Steinert has not tried a deep throw so far in this game, definitely complicates things. And then a timeout will be taken here by the Assumption Royals. We'll take a quick one with them and be right back here on Zaleski Sports.
My grandparents worked so hard their whole life to keep things nice. You want to make sure that you're getting the job done correctly. At no point did I feel like I wasn't being handled by professionals. They were literally taking it on a surgical level, it seemed. Like they were very, very thorough on every step. I feel like Infinity treated my family with the same respect they would have treated their own. I feel like my house is brand new again.
Culligan Water delivers. From your first call, to your first sip, to your first soak. Culligan, give us a tap. The only water that comes with a van.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Rapids as we have a high-scoring game on our hands. Assumption able to stop the Thunderbirds on one possession so far in this one, and they're going to try and take advantage of that as they do get possession of the ball to start the second half. And so they would love to try and get in the end zone here. Even if Iola-Scandinavia can score one of their own, they would most likely have some momentum going into halftime knowing they get the ball back. And this has been a pretty fast-moving one so far. 4:43 remaining on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard here in the first half. Both of these two teams with heavy running. Really the only passing we've seen have been screens and short passes pretty close to the line of scrimmage. I formation here for Assumption. This one going to be tossed to the near side of the field. And they decided to go for it here. Almost forgot it was 4th and long on that one. They decided to just try and toss it to the far end of the field and don't get much. And so Assumption, rather than deciding to try and kick it and pin them deep closer to the 10-yard line, they decided that they'd rather not give it back to them at all and try and go for it. But kind of surprised that they didn't at least try to throw the ball and air it out on that one, considering the situation they were in on 4th and 12. But either way, it will be Thunderbird ball. Maybe Assumption assuming that with the skill of Jensen Rice, the difference of that 20 or so yards of punting it deep might not make all that much of a difference, as this one's going to be tossed to the far side of the field for Bowen. He's going to get some blocking, but the Assumption D-line is going to catch up to it pretty quickly and stop him a good ways behind the line.
Bowen will lose a little bit on that carry.
It will be a loss of 4 on the play and set up a 1st and 14, maybe closer to 1st and 13 actually, or 2nd and 13. Got a few Thunderbirds lining up out wide. 3 receivers on that near side of your screen. Jensen Rice is going to hand it off, pretends to fake it, but it will be another handoff to Bowen, who is going to get a little bit of it back, but still going to set up for a 3rd and long right around the original line of scrimmage. It will be closer to a 3rd and 9 for the Thunderbirds. Still 3:27 remaining, so you have to think about how much time the Royals are going to have left on the clock if they get this ball back. Jensen will shovel pass it, and picking up the 1st down. What a play there. Brogan Gullickson is going to pick that one up. Number 15 for the Thunderbirds. He's a sophomore, and that was an incredible play because it was one where Jensen Rice really waited until the last possible second to get rid of that ball. It almost felt like it transported or teleported from his hand to the receiver. I really didn't even see where he got rid of it. It was so fast, and with a defender barreling down on him, he was able to take all the pressure towards him and create more space. And now even more space on the other end of the field for Brogan Gullickson. So just as I was talking about Assumption potentially getting the ball back, just like that, the Thunderbirds are in Assumption territory with 2:48 left to go. They have the potential to be the last team to hold this ball, and they're going to try and do that. But now you're in an interesting situation where 2-minute drill becomes a lot more different when you're a team that runs the ball as often as they do. Got to be wary of the clock. Still, I believe, 2 timeouts left. Dropping back for this one. The first pass attempt of the game is not going to be completed, as a strong defensive play by Camden Martin. Would have been a tough one on that sideline either way by Gullickson, but breaking it up nicely there by Martin. And that will set up a 3rd down, but a 3rd down and manageable. But like I said, it makes things more interesting when you're forced to throw this late in the half. And so you want to put yourself in the best position to keep possession, but again, you don't want Assumption to get this ball back with a good deal of time. Taking it himself once more is Rice, as he will make one more cut and then muscle past a few more defenders. The initial contact came behind the yard to gain, and he was able to twist forward for another 1st down for the Thunderbirds. And not only that, but well, actually, no, he was not out of bounds, and so he'll be tackled in. Under 2 minutes now left to go. They have to move quickly here. All the way still at the 40-yard line. They only have so many plays left. And a rare Rice lining up in the backfield. But he still will take it himself on the run. Muscling forward for another 3 yards. And 1:30 and ticking left now on the clock. They got to go quickly.
2nd down.
And Rice is kind of looking to the sideline, looking for a play, and there's just no time. You got to get back into formation here. Iola-Scandinavia may be wishing they hadn't burned a timeout earlier on in this half, as this one's going to be flipped, making a cut, and eventually will be stopped for only a gain of another 3. And so right at the situation where the Thunderbirds were hoping that they could get more of those chunk plays like they have been getting in this game, this is exactly where you want those because you're running out of time. And this is right at the point where they're starting to go more short yardage with it. And now coming off the field, and that is not a good sign. Jensen Rice is injured and making his way off the field. And so now we have Mason Kreisel into the game, as that one will be incomplete. It was a pretty good throw on Wyatt Wolberg. Couldn't quite make the play. And so we'll have to keep an eye on Rice. And just as I say that, he's got a helmet back on. He is back out onto the field. It looked like kind of a lower leg situation he had going on. Maybe just something he came up a little bit gimpy on. Doesn't look like it's that big of a deal if he was able to run out onto the field after missing just one play. And so 52.6 seconds left on the field. They have the benefit of that last play falling incomplete, so the clock did stop. But it is 4th down, dropping back. Rice escaping pressure, but cannot escape that much longer. He's going to cut to the other end of the field. Can he use his speed to try and get this 1st down? Instead, he'll heave it, and it is incomplete. And that is a major stop for these Assumption Royals to finish off this half. We'll see if they try and go for a few more plays here with 38 seconds left, but they do have the opportunity to come into the second half. It is still a tie game, but they do have possession first. We'll see what Steinert wants to do with this little amount of time left on the clock. Two receivers out wide, but it does look like another tight formation. We'll see if they try and just hand it off to Cornwell and see if he can break one to finish off the half. Instead, it will be Steinert taking it himself, and he's only going to get about 5 or 6. Solid run, but with this little time left, they will look to the sideline to see what they want to do, but they don't seem like they're in much of a rush. And it's possible they're just going to wait out the rest of this clock, and that is what they're going to do. And so the first quarter yields 28 total points. Well, technically that last one scored in the first 2 plays of the second. And the second quarter was all silent as both of these defenses figured things out, found a way to stop the run, and a couple big penalties and holding penalties on both sides made it still a 14-14 game here at the half. And so we will send it to some commercial messages, break down this first and second quarter and what both of these teams need to do to try and win this game after the break here on Zaleski Sports.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hard Knocks on Zaleski Sports is presented by Security Health Plan. SecurityHealth.org is your portal to find your plan, a doctor, prescription tools, and more. For 24/7 access and all the tools and resources needed to improve your well-being, right at your fingertips, visit SecurityHealth.org.
Ready. Woo! Middle, 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 middle. Keep going. I think it's open. Come on, let's go down, down, down. Right away. Ready.
The Augusta Beavers started practice with some returning and punting drills. Coach Bolt and his team prepare to face the Blair Taylor Wildcats to open up Dairyland Conference play.
Ready! Middle, 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 middle! God damn this. Very good. As soon as you snap, you release and go. Don't try to block because they cannot touch you. So you get a free run at the quarterback. Water. Do that double pass.
2-3 belly.
They will look to their second-string quarterback, though. Owen Lee won't be ready to go with injury, so sophomore James Shong will take the lead tomorrow against Blair Taylor.
Let's do this. Let's go. Can we get like 7 really good hard plays? What I talked about yesterday. You know what I mean? You okay with that? Yeah, 6, 7. You know, something like that. And then, so guys, we're gonna go basically live for 7 plays here. All right?
7.
Yeah, give or take.
Everyone,
Josh, hold that. Let's go. Let's go. On your horse, all right? I cannot hit you.
Leading up, outside back. Outside back.
Lead up, Chase. There we go.
Lead in the end.
Hey, Nate.
Good.
Way to hustle, Song. Get away. Go. That's it, Austin. Way to come up. That away.
Trap on 1. Tight left. 25 to my phone. Trap on 1. Ready.
Come on now. Let's go. Bennett. Cut, Dylan.
Oh, you good?
Chase.
We're 20. Cut.
There you go, Sean. Just like that. I don't want to stop. There we go. There we go. Start to figure this out.
We're 20. Cut.
Oh, back! Freeze.
Thanks for letting me know. We're 20. Cut.
Oh! Yeah, you don't want this, Martizzi. You don't want this, Martini. Keep the ball there.
You asked for it, Everett.
Come on! Boom!
Every time, Ryan. Face it.
You guys get no food.
No, you're not losing. You're not losing.
Alicia has it delayed.
No.
Be ready.
Okay, but you're like now that you've got that figured out, you're kind of doing whatever you want because you can. Okay, you need to get down here though. Don't get yourself up here. You got to stay down here and play down here. Okay. All right. So 30. 30 something. 25.
The idea on the blitz is you want to get across the line of scrimmage as fast as you can. So you're full speed line of scrimmage, you're coming across here, and then you're breaking down looking for the ball. If you see the ball, you just keep going. But if you don't know where the ball is, then you got to break down and find it. Riley's got the ball. That's the guy right there. Okay, Riley's going to run that way or he's going to run that way. So you're coming down here, you're going to go right here, you're going to break down, and then you're going to move to the ball. All right, here we go.
Which one of us are blitzing?
We're going one at a time. One at a time. Here we go. Hit! Slow. You got to get to the line of scrimmage faster. You got to be there faster. Here we go. Sit. All right.
20 shot. 20. Hut. I'm good.
more off here in Augusta. Wincy returns it for around 10 yards, where Augusta will start just shy of their own 25. And that's a caught pass down the sideline. Nice catch and move by Isaac Mooney. Shong back to pass. And that's bobbled and intercepted. First play for Blair Taylor is a run down the sideline. Wincy chasing him. He cannot catch him. Touchdown, Blair Taylor. Man in motion, that's Johnson. So it wasn't Johnson, but Johnson got the carry and he scored for Blair Taylor. His second touchdown of the game. And that's another first down, that time on the carry by Dylan Dirks. And another keeper by Shong. That's close to a first down. Shong rolls back, and he's sacked. Trap back to pass. And intercepted. Taken down the sidelines for the touchdown. That's a pick six from Colton Wincy. Schools in the smaller divisions, but Blair Taylor likes to throw the ball. And avoiding the sack is Trapp. He doesn't have much time. He hucks it. And that's a touchdown. Blair Taylor. CJ Dummer. And that's a carry around the end. And touchdown. That's Austin Clemens once again. Blair Taylor opens up conference play as they beat Augusta 56-6.
All right. Hey, guys. Hey, good game tonight. We all had our high.
Well, we welcome you back here to Wisconsin Rapids as we get ready for the second half of action here in Wisconsin Rapids. First of all, we'd like to take a look here at some of the other action going on around the state. The Mosney Indians going up against the Lakeland Thunderbirds is currently 24-7. That was going to be a very interesting game to watch throughout the course of the night because that was a number 7 versus number 14 ranked team by Zaleski. He's take a look at some of the other two teams that are matched up against each other that are both ranked. Number 1 Grantsford versus number 16 Godot. As we'll find that game quickly here. And that one is a 2-point game, believe it or not. We've got 2-0, and actually the touchdown was scored before the half was over, so it does make it 8-0 in favor of Grantsburg. Grantsburg boasting that amazing defense, and then they ran forward for a 2-point conversion. So 10-0 in favor of Grantsburg right now in that game. And then the other ranked game we had was kind of the battle of two team names that, if you're not from this area, you really don't know how to say. Oconomowoc and Oconomowoc. All right, I've got a lesson here. I am 10 months into living in Wisconsin, so some of these names are still kind of learning opportunities for me. And then Mukwonago is the number 10 team. And so taking a look at that game, definitely very easy names to find here on this stream list. And it is a 14-0 lead in favor of Mukwonago. And so the number 10 leading the number 3 team at the half. So that's definitely another game to keep an eye on. And so if you one of those that likes to have your games going on a laptop, a monitor, a TV, then definitely multiple games that you can watch. But happy that you are choosing this as your primary game of choice here on Zaleski Sports. And we thank you so much for tuning in. We'll take a look here at some of the things that have been going on in this half. It was the Jensen Rice show, of course, on the Iola-Scandinavia side of the ball. It's what we expected with some of the injuries that were occurring with this team. Kors Loken, like we mentioned in the pregame, he is not playing here for the next couple weeks. He had a wrist injury last week, and he was one of the top performers of this team, leading the team by about 3 times the amount in receiving yards, 30 receiving yards per game for him, in an offense that, didn't necessarily rely on the passing game, but definitely loved using that play action option and passing the ball every once in a while. He was a great target for them when they chose to do that. And we saw late in this first half when they were forced to throw the ball with time running out in this game, or in this half, they weren't quite able to get the ball to their receivers. So that's definitely a factor for them, but Jensen Rice took matters into his own hands in the first couple possessions of the game. He scored a deep one from about 68, and then he ran for a 60, maybe 59, 60-yard touchdown on the other end in his second possession. As for the Assumption Royals, it was 2 kind of longer developing drives as Braxton Steinert and Wiley Cornwell were both able to get into the end zone. And so it was kind of a tale of 2 different approaches. Assumption wanting to kind of demand time of possession throughout the course of this one so far, whereas it was really the home run hits that Iola-Scandinavia was going for. But really, I think it's going to come down to, in this game, the winning team is going to be the team that can stick with their identity in a more effective way. Both of these 2 teams incredibly efficient running the football, but what Assumption has going for them is that while Jensen Rice is an incredible X factor, he is still one man, and Assumption has multiple playmakers going for them in Braxton Steinert, Wiley Cornwell, and Camden Martin. I am not at all saying that the Thunderbirds don't have plenty of other great options. We've seen Aiden Bowen and Brogan Gullickson have some pretty good performances so far in this first half. When we talk about X-factor players that every time they touch the ball could be touchdowns and could be long runs, you feel pretty confident about that Steinert, Cornwell, and Martin combination. And so they kind of have the flexibility to go either end of the field with it, whereas it's kind of speed and getting around the edge. That is what Iola-Scandinavia relies on. But they also do it better than pretty much anyone. So it is going to come down to who can stop the X factors on either side. And the first quarter and the very start of the second quarter, 28 total points. The entire rest of the second quarter, nothing at all. So some of those things were products of penalties, and there were some holding calls on both sides of the ball that ended up costing both teams offensively. But it really is going to come down to who makes the least mistakes and who runs the ball best. And it doesn't seem like great analysis when I say that, but that really just is the way that it has to be between these 2 teams, and it's going to be really fun to see them battle it out for the remainder of this game. ShedsDelivered.com is your one-stop shop for sheds, barns, cabins, garages, greenhouses, chicken coops, and hunting blinds, all crafted by skilled Amish artisans. See their display lots in Marshfield, Medford, and Wisconsin Rapids, and get more information at ShedsDelivered.com. Mutual of Wausau is also a sponsor of Zaleski Sports. They are protecting homes, farms, and businesses since 1875. Visit mutualofwausau.com to find an agent near you. Also brought to you by Next Step Prosthetics, providing prosthetic and orthotics throughout central Wisconsin. Take your next step and contact them today. And we also thank them for having been the sponsor of our pregame show. And so as we take a look here at the scoreboard presented by Key Savings Bank, 14-14 as we get ready to start off this third quarter. Plenty of unanswered questions for both of these two teams, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see what they can accomplish to start out this first drive, as Assumption having stopped the Thunderbirds on that last possession, forcing them to throw the ball as the clock expired or got close to expiring, able to turn over downs at around 38 seconds left in the first half. They now have possession to start things off, and they have the flexibility but to potentially take control and take momentum early on, as this one's just going to be sent out of bounds, and a flag is thrown for that kick out of bounds. And so Assumption has had the benefit of getting the ball pretty good territory to start things off. The field position game will end up being a pretty big factor later on in this one, but Iola-Scandinavia not with really a true kicker, as a lot of these teams don't tend to have a true kicker on either of their teams. And so that definitely makes things interesting, especially later on in games when you're trying to come back and only have the choice of going for it on fourth down. And so Steinert will try and lead this team. He's understood throughout the course of this one that he has another great quarterback on the other end trying to outduel him, as he will take it himself, absorb contact, and fall to right around the 44-yard line. Make that the 45-yard line for a gain of 5. And so we'll see if Assumption can continue to get some of those chunk plays they got later on in the half, as that first drive especially, and a good deal of that second drive as well, where they scored touchdowns, they kind of had more of that 4-yard, 5-yard rushing approach where they would send things to third down very frequently, but they were third and incredibly manageable, as Steinert will take it himself again, will dive forward, and once again you'll take that on second and medium, picking up 3 yards and diving forward to make it a third and, once again, very manageable. Trying to get past midfield for the first down. I've seen this team be led incredibly well by Jeff Sullivan so far this year. Whenever you start off the season with 2 losses that you'd love to have back, both of those games against some really good teams, and you lose those by a pretty considerable margin, you have to bounce back, and that's exactly what they did last week, going up against Pacelli, and they're trying to continue that momentum here tonight. And this one will be tossed over, getting the first down and trying to get some more, but being stood up around the 49, 48-yard line on the nice run that time by Kalen Ott.
Kalen Ott with a carry. First and 10 for the Royals.
And so that will move the chains once more, and that's kind of the benefit you have of when you get that kickoff in such great field position. You get one first down, is just like that, the rain starts to come down quickly here. I did not expect any rain in our forecast, and that was just instantaneous. I did not see anything up until that point, and that's a flash shower right there. Steinert will take it himself and fall to the about 44-yard line.
Steiner turns it upfield.
And the rain seems like it's already starting to dissipate a little bit.
Up about 5, second down.
And so that will certainly cool things down a little bit here this evening, as it was in kind of the mid-70s all day. And so, you know, from a ball handling perspective, from what rain does to the football, it's not quite as big a deal when you've got two teams rushing the ball as much as they do, but obviously the factor with rain on turf is it makes it more slippery. It makes things a little bit more dangerous to play on, so we'll have to see how that plays out throughout the course of this one as Steinert is able to run forward for a gain of about 7 or 8. And just like that, they're within the 40 of the Thunderbirds. And so, the rain already stopping, just a little bit of a sprinkle now, and that was probably one of the quickest showers I've ever seen. And we'll see if anything comes back throughout the course of this one and how that affects things. But for now, dry conditions once more as Steinert will line up. Motion. They will toss it to the motion man, Martin, as he will cut back, split more defenders, and rumble all the way down to the 21-yard line.
Camden Martin, the first down carry for the Royals.
Camden Martin, you know, is one of those players where he doesn't necessarily make headlines. He's not the all-around back that Cornwell is, but every single time he touches the ball, it feels like he makes a tremendous impact. And those are those special skill players that you just have to have on your team in order to kind of take the workload away from Cornwell and to kind of keep the defense on their toes. First down at the 22-yard line now for Assumption. They're trying to gain momentum here to start off this second half. Steinert will take it himself once again. Felt like he didn't have much real estate, but finds his own real estate for 4 or 5 yards.
Cap of about 5, second down.
Jeff Sullivan relaying his battle orders once more. And have to imagine with the way that this team is battled as the rain continues to come back, this time a little bit stronger. I have to imagine that this Thunderbird defense is pretty exhausted at this point. They're going to have to continue to battle as this is just the start of the second half, is trying to run forward and able to fall forward, and wasn't sure where he was in that pile, but Cornwell is somehow able to fall all the way within the 10-yard line. We have a first and goal at the 9-yard line. And this rain has been kind of been back and forth. Now it's light again. You can still barely see it in the lights here in Wisconsin Rapids. And so once again, Cornwell the single back, a couple receivers on either side. Steinert will take it himself as he will lose the football. Diving on top of it. Assumption seems to think it was Cornwell that got it first, and Cornwell is able to get it. And so a total dodged bullet that time, as we talked about the effect that the rain might have had on the ball. Not sure if that was a factor, if it was just kind of a nice clean hit to jar it loose. But either way, Steinert thanking his lucky stars that that one ended up back in the hands of an Assumption Royal. That would have completely swung the momentum of this game as Assumption is on the doorstep. Second and goal at the 5-yard line. And rather than the fumble, they still were able to gain 4 yards on that play. So trying to shake that one off. Steinert will now try to take it himself again, make up for the fumble, and he dives for it. And the whistle's blown before he could dive. Must have stepped out of bounds. And so that will set things up for a 3rd and goal right around the 2 or 3 yard line. Certainly 4-down territory for this Assumption team, as they're now right around the territory they'd have for a 2-point conversion. And they missed one so far today and then made the other. And they will go with that same formation. Expect Cornwell to run here, and instead it will be Steinert taking it himself, and he runs into the end zone for the Assumption touchdown. 20-14, and the point attempt coming here. Would expect another 2-point conversion attempt. And just like that, Assumption is on top for the first time in this game. They were down by 8, and then they were down, well, they were down by 8, then they were down by 2 because they missed the 2-point conversion. It was a huge stop on the Thunderbirds 2-point conversion on the other end to keep it an 8-point game. And then on their other end, down 14-6, they went all the way down the field to tie it up at 14. And now with their first lead here of the night. Some motion here. Add another back in the backfield. And then a flag will be thrown. Was this a delay of game? No, it's a false start. And absolutely brutal here for Assumption to have a false start on an untimed down, as they will now talk about what they want to do here. Coming into the game is Ben Dean, the freshman lineman. And it looks like they're going to try to kick the extra point here. AJ Plummer is going to be coming in. Typically an O-line, D lineman, and he is going to get his opportunity. And that one is going to be blocked, no good. And so a big stop there by the Thunderbirds, and we'll see if that ends up rearing its ugly head for Assumption on that false start call. But they are able to take the lead for the first time in the game as we take you to a commercial break. Thunderbirds back on offense after this on Zaleski Sports.
If you ask us, picking out new furniture should be fun, and when you work with us, it is. Home Furniture's free design assistance in your home or in our store. We make the process as easy as possible by helping you envision what your furniture and your room will look like. What inspires you? Visit Home Furniture today to create a single sofa or an entire room. We'll help you bring it all together. Dream it, create it, love it. Home Furniture's free design assistance, West Grand Avenue, Wisconsin Rapids, and Post Road in Plover.
Welcome back to the amazing athletic facility we have here right on the outskirts of Lincoln High School, where we are home to both Wisconsin Rapids and the Assumption Royals. And the Assumption Royals back at home after starting off the season at home and then 2 straight away games. They had an away game against Bocelli in Stevens Point last Friday, and now back home sweet home, and they have the lead at home and have the momentum for now, but we'll have to see what happens on this possession. Thunderbirds have the benefit of a false start call on the 2-point conversion attempt, and so they find themselves up only 6, and so if the Thunderbirds are able to come back and score a touchdown here, it'll make things very interesting. But still a ways to go before that happens here, as the kickoff is once again squibbed. It's going to be fumbled for now, and smartly that time. Like it was Mason Morphy who had a hard time fielding that one and deciding, instead of trying to pick it up and run for a few more yards, decided to fall on top of it and not risk it with this high-scoring Iola-Scandinavia offense coming up. And so we've seen, Jensen Rice in this Thunderbird offense. Their first 2 possessions, absolutely amazing. 2 straight long touchdown runs from Rice, and then kind of stagnant after that. 2 straight possessions with nothing. And holding calls were definitely the culprit of why they were unable to really get anything going. And that's going to be a false start, or potentially a encroachment, depending on when the ball was snapped. But it looks like it's mostly going to be a false start. And that is the way that the Thunderbirds are moving.
False start penalty
It is indeed a false start penalty to make it a 1st and 15, just as I was saying that the penalties were killing the Thunderbirds in the first half. Another one now committed. But the Thunderbirds know that even with being set back a few yards here, multiple playmakers on this team can find daylight pretty quickly. And so the difference between 10 and 15 yards might not be quite as crazy to them as other offenses. As Rice will take it himself. And this time he'll try and cut back to the outside. And it feels like Assumption these last few possessions have kind of had Rice figured out. They've been kind of able to guess where he's going to go with the football. And it's one of those situations where if he's able to elude 1 or 2 tackles, then he can take it 20 or more yards, potentially all the way to the house. But if you're able to stay strong on those first couple tackles, then you can tackle him for a loss potentially. Almost kind of an all-or-nothing approach here for this offense. Lining up now from the backfield as they're going to try a pass play here. Under pressure immediately and sacked. Actually, no, not sacked, and now sacked. Somehow he was able to break out of the pressure. 2 or 3 Assumption players on him, but still tackled behind the line to gain. This Assumption D-line getting after the Thunderbirds. And you do not want to give the ball back to Assumption right now if you're the Thunderbirds, with how much time they take off the clock every time they possess the ball. And I would expect if Iola-Scandinavia doesn't score here, there's a potential they don't get the ball back until closer to 8 or 9 minutes left in this game. Dropping back here, and the floater will be caught. A big impact play there as Rice finds Brogan Gullickson. And one of those where you have to have guys up on the line to contain Rice, and some guys maybe going a little bit deeper than they should have in coverage, and sitting kind of right in that medium to long area of the field was Gullickson, and he just needed to run about 3 or 4 yards to the first down marker and got a few more. So definitely flipping the narrative there from potentially having to punt the ball off to rolling on offense on the 43-yard line now of the Thunderbirds. Rice will hand this one off to Bowen, and he will stumble forward for a few yards there, and he will pick up 3 on that carry. And we're seeing a little bit of a change in the way that Iola-Scandinavia is running their offense here. They're starting to recognize a little bit that Assumption's trying to figure out this approach of Rice's offense, and they're starting to give other players a few more opportunities, trying to mix things up a little bit, trying to throw the ball a little bit more. They will toss it now to the outside to Bowen, as he will evade a couple defenders but be forced out of bounds for a gain of 1.5. And he is forced out of bounds, so it will be a run of the clock. So we've got under 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter now on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard. And we're seeing a little bit more of a chess match between these two teams, as it looked like it was going to be an absolute shootout to start off this game. As Rice will now drop back himself. He'll escape some pressure, use his speed, and then gets tackled down, and looked like that was a solid tackle that time by Wiley Cornwell. He did grab a part of the jersey, but it looked like it was kind of the side of the jersey, not the shoulder pad, but just the jersey itself. And that is legal as long as you don't actually get into the shoulder pad, which he did not. And so that creates a 4th and about 5 here, and potentially one of the most important plays of this game, as it looks like the Thunderbirds are going to keep their offense out here, understanding how few possessions they might have left in this game. Or no, never mind. Looks like they are going to flag is thrown now. It's multiple different thoughts in my head, just continuing to circumvent each other, as It looked like they were going to punt it. Then the ball was snapped to Rice. He looked upset, almost as if he was going to try and throw it. And then the false start happened, and none of it mattered anyway. So that creates now a 4th and 10. Got a 4th and 10 from your own 43-yard line. There is no one back to receive this potential punt, and they will now get into punt formation. But of course, watch the trick play here. They are still going to punt it away, and this one's going to take a pretty good Thunderbird bounce to the 30-yard line. And the way this offense was playing the first couple possessions of this game, I almost was expecting the fake punt and almost expecting them to go for it there, but just cannot in your own area of the field. So I'd like to thank a few more sponsors for being partners of Zaleski Sports. Rapid Sheet Metal and Heating and Cooling places your comfort at home as their highest priority. Not too hot, not too cold. That's the plan with Rapids Sheet Metal in Wisconsin Rapids. Give them a call or find them online at rapidssheetmetal.com. As out comes Assumption once more. And this is going to be a big drive for Assumption, because if they can have that slow, methodical run down the field for a score, then that could really potentially ice this game. Although they'll start things off running out of bounds. The clock will run, though, as he's forced out, and they'll most likely let this go to the 4th quarter with time running out. But already a gain of 8 to start off this drive, and we'll see how much Assumption can run off the clock. Only 12 minutes left to go in this game. If this drive ends in a score, it could really spell disaster for this Thunderbird team. But the clock does expire for the 3rd quarter on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard, and we will send things to a quick commercial break here on Zaleski Sports.
Take your valuable possessions from outdoors to indoors with help from ShedsDelivered.com. It's your one-stop shop for sheds, barns, cabins, garages, greenhouses, chicken coops, and hunting blinds, all crafted by skilled Amish artisans. Headquartered in Loyal, Rod and April make it easy. Just visit ShedsDelivered.com to design your perfect structure. With short lead times and free delivery and installation, Sheds Delivered is the smart choice for outdoor storage. That's ShedsDelivered.com. Go today.
At Nicolay Bank, a great rate isn't new or trendy. Our Real Rewards checking has offered 3.00% annual percentage yield since 2011, earning customers over $20 million in interest. Join your friends and neighbors in experiencing Real Rewards checking and get excited to earn 3% more. See terms and apply at NicolayBank.com. Nicolay Bank. Real people, real conversations.
Is it time to replace your old gutters? Call Schwartz Seamless Gutters and protect your home with new seamless technology. No seams, no leaks. With free estimates in 2 days or less and workmanship guaranteed, our service is as seamless as our gutters.
Well, welcome back here to Wisconsin Rapids. As if you have any inkling of not knowing where you are, you can look right out to the distance and you see the Wisconsin Rapids water tower out there, slightly illuminated, just enough to see it. And we'd like to thank you again for tuning in here to Zaleski Sports, as we've got potentially a good 4th quarter on our hands, as we've got a gassed Thunderbird defense trying to find its way around this potent Assumption offense, as this is going to be a steady dose of Cornwell. And just as I say that, they're going to toss it to the far side of the field for the first down. It's going to be Camden Martin. And just when you think you're going to have to deal with the downfield one-dimensional running of Wiley Cornwell, you can toss it over to Camden Martin, or Braxton Steinert can take it himself. And it's just kind of an X factor for this team. And so, first down, still in their own territory, but at the 42-yard line. And they are happy, as long as they're getting first downs, they're happy with them taking 2 or 3 plays. every first down, because that means they're running the clock down very efficiently towards the end of this game. Cutting to the far side of the field, not getting back, or just barely getting back to the original line of scrimmage. And that will make it 2nd and 10. Stopping this offense on all 3 downs, potentially 4 downs, just so difficult, because it feels like it's so easy for them to break at least one on any given possession. And we already see the clock ticking all the way below 10:40, as the clock's really all that the Thunderbirds can look at right now. They saw an opportunity to try and tie this one up earlier, and they were not able to capitalize. As this one's going to be another toss once more to Camden Martin, and he's able to get a little bit of space. Did he actually stay in bounds there? And they're going to say that he did not. So he was trying to tiptoe through for a first down there, wasn't quite able to do it. But he does step out of bounds. He was forced out, though, and it'll continue to run the clock. And like I said earlier, with those 3rd and shorts, you honestly want to take those and not reset the chains, because it allows you to take more time off the clock. Already under 10 minutes now left to go for this Assumption team. Trying to make sure that failed 2-point conversion ends up not coming back to bite them, because if they score again, it's not going to matter, as just like I said, Cornwell runs for the first down, and now they get a fresh set of downs with the clock continuing to run. Now into Thunderbird territory, and we're seeing just a mastery of salting this game away so far here for the Assumption Royals. Important to keep an eye on, of course. Steiner did almost fumble the ball there, or did fumble the ball towards the goal line. It was fallen on top of by another Royal player. That could have completely changed the momentum of this game. At the 47-yard line of the Thunderbirds. Once again, feeds. And this is going to be a potential touchdown. Daylight, 10-5, touchdown. And one more time, Camden Martin puts the team on his back. And we are seeing deja vu from last Friday's game. Trying to salt away this game, trying to go up by 2 possessions late in the game. It's exactly what Camden Martin did against Pacelli. He ran straight through the heart of that defense into the end zone, and that's exactly what he does here. Still a little bit more time on the clock this time around. Still 9 minutes left to go, but they're up now by 2 possessions, and the way they've been running it, it's going to be tough to stop them on the Thunderbird side, even if they're able to get a touchdown. So they'll go for a 2-point conversion here to try and make this a 14-point game and make it even more interesting. As a whistle will be blown, and something going on the near side potentially for number 8, Reed Sauter. And it is going to be another penalty against Assumption. Not quite sure what that was. Not sure if that was an illegal shift, some sort of taunting. It was only 5 yards. But it is a mystery on what that penalty was there. Either way, it looks most likely like they are going to try. Well, we'll have to see, because they tried for the field goal the last time around, and it was a very low kick. It got blocked, but it was blocked most likely because of how low the trajectory was. So it looks like they are going to try and go for this from the 7-yard line and still go for the 2-point conversion this time around. Motion here. Steinert has a wide open player, and it is going to be Cornwell for the 2-point conversion. There is a flag, though.
While the Cornwell, there is a flag on the play.
And both teams staying out there. Have to see if this is another one on Assumption. If it sends them back even further, what are they going to do then? And is an offensive pass interference.
Pass interference called on the Royals.
And so it'll be another try here. And that is going to send them back. I believe it should be 10 yards still on a 2-point try. And it will be. So you've got an extra point try from the 18-yard line. You're now to the point where, you know, if you don't have a tried and true kicker, you don't really want to attempt that field goal from that distance either way. So you're going for it here from the 28-yard line, the 24-yard line, excuse me. Assumption just having too much fun out there. They want to keep this game going as long as possible. Fading back here. Steinert is going to escape pressure. A Houdini act. Now running to the other side of the field. He's going to try and weave through defenders. He loses the football. And it's going to be a failed 2-point conversion. But Steinert almost did something incredible there. He somehow got out of that one. I don't know how. And now a player is down. And is it Steinert? As the trainers go out to check on him. And looks potentially like a cramp as they are working out that leg. But it doesn't look like they're extending it too much or bending it too much, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll take a step aside and be back here on Zaleski Sports.
I got referred to the orthodontist, and I was really nervous, but in my 2-year process, the staff was very welcoming and very kind to me. My brother also had treatment here, and he was very happy with a smile. I'd recommend Bruce Orthodontics to all my friends and family that want a beautiful smile just like us.
When I come in for my appointment, the wait is really short. All of the workers are very kind and sweet. They try to make sure that everything in my mouth is just right after my checkup, and Dr. Bruce is very nice.
I'd love the opportunity to meet you and transform your smile. Call us to set up your free consultation today.
Hey Gilbert, did you hear Mittens in Marshfield's running a huge anniversary sale and the savings are explosive?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a great deal on some furniture and take it easy this semester.
Anniversary? Already? Party!
Ah, Poindexter's lost again.
Oh my cookies!
This store is huge and everyone is so friendly.
You'll geek out over our huge anniversary savings at Mittens in Marshfield.
Well, welcome back here to Wisconsin Rapids. It was kind of unclear. Looked a lot like a cramp initially for Braxton Steinert. Just looked like it was more pain than you usually see out of a cramp, and then he was having even more trouble getting off the field, and then he's going to fall down once more on the sideline, and it has all the look of what you usually would do to work out a cramp. They're trying to flex that leg, and they even bent it a little bit. But if it is a cramp, it's one of the worst cramps I've seen in a while, because Steinert is not having fun out there, and we'll just have to hope that it is just a really bad cramp, and we'll keep you updated on it as the Thunderbirds will try and come back in this one, and if the Assumption Royals see the field again, see if he's the one out there. And he is making his way up now on the sideline. And yeah, it is just looking like that was just a gnarly cramp. I have not seen someone down for that long after a cramp in a long time. So good to see that he's now back up, walking under his own power. And now losing that one, picking it up now for the Thunderbirds. And being tackled right around the 15-yard line. You talk about all these kickoffs usually ending up either out of bounds or, picked up around the 30 or 35. That one being mishandled sends it all the way back to the 15, and that really changes field position and not something you want to start with the Thunderbirds being down by 9, down 2 possessions. They got a lot of work to do, and now they have another 20-plus yards than they would have had to try and do that. 26-14 on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard. First and 10 from the 15, 16-yard line. Is taking it himself here is Jensen Rice, as he's going to try and get to the sideline, and it will stop the clock. And we have another player down here
Jensen Rice keeps the ball.
as looking to see who that might potentially be over there on the sideline. And this might be another cramp. And it looks like it is. And it's not overly hot out here tonight. It cooled down considerably. It's 68 degrees right now, and the heat and the sun definitely not a factor either, with the sun setting quite a while ago. So interesting to see so many cramps in this game. And 2 right after another. Right there on the sideline. And we will take a quick step away here and be right back.
Does your roof need attention? Don't replace it, restore it with Seamless Commercial Roofing. Our process is guaranteed and a fraction of the cost of replacement with no downtime. When your roof needs attention, call Seamless Commercial Roofing in Marshfield.
Well, welcome back, as there was another Assumption player that went down with what looked like a cramp, and these cramps are taking a while to work out, as we do see Steinert back out onto the field after his. And starting to worry that, no, they're working it out like another cramp. These have just been really bad cramps for these players, as running forward for a gain of another 2 or 3 yards. This is what's so difficult for Iola-Scandinavia now, because you're a team that your entire identity is running the football, and you do it incredibly well, but when you find yourself down by a considerable amount, you are trying to get down the field as quickly as possible, especially with the field position that you had. It's just there's so much time that's now going to come off the clock, even if you do come all the way down the field. And then you have to stop that Assumption offense. Got to find some way to get the job done through the air. And instead they will run it once more, making the cut and breaking free here. Trying to get past one more defender. Down there is Mason Kreisel, as he was the backup quarterback that came in when Jensen Rice went down briefly in the end of the first half. He's staying out there. I did not see Rice come out, but he must have with some sort of injury, or perhaps that Kreisel is the quarterback they go to when they need a little bit more done through the air. Either way, they are going to continue to run this one with Kreisel, as he will get to the far end of the field and is able to run out of bounds, which stops the clock, making it a 2nd and about 6.
Here's Kreisel to carry.
And so we'll see if any sort of play calling changes here with the clock running down. Of course, Thunderbirds have done a good job of getting out of bounds here. If they're able to get those runs to the outside and get out of bounds on every play, then that's just as good as passing downs. Running to the far side, back in, throwing it and completing it and running out of bounds. Another nice efficient play there. Completed to Aiden Bowen and Jensen Rice back in the game for that play. So not sure if that was, it does look like he's coming up gimpy there. Looks like he is favoring that left ankle area. And so definitely going to make it more difficult for him on potential running downs. And we'll see if, it is the part of the game where you're throwing more anyway, but have to keep an eye on it as he will run it himself again. And it just feels like that speed is not there right now with whatever it is that's ailing him. And so more clock runs off. 7 minutes remaining in this game. You are in Assumption territory, but trying to score as quickly as possible to counteract this Assumption offense. In the backfield is Aiden Bowen. Rice will fake it to him. Looking back, he's got a potential receiver, and it is caught. Sidestepping the defender all the way down to the 3-yard line. Wyatt Wolberg, sure-handed all the way downfield, making this one interesting now. And we have a player that went down initially, but he is staying in the game here. Good heart there by Ben Dean, who was down and immediately wanted to stay in the game, but is now being forced out. And so now the Thunderbirds, as the clock will start to run now, they were trying to get down the field as that clock stoppage happened. Going quick with it now, handing it off into the end zone for the touchdown. And the first step of the potential comebacks complete to Aiden Bowen, the running touchdown. That will make it 26-20. And we still have 6:15 remaining in this game. And that's exactly what Iola-Scandinavia needed. And they have enough buffer time now to counteract Assumption, assuming they're going to get a couple first downs. But if they can stop them, they're going to have a chance here. And we have another player. Is that another cramp? My goodness. On the sideline, another player getting worked out for a potential cramp. And I don't know what it is about the air here tonight. As going for the 2-point conversion, and that one will not be good. And so that makes it 26-20. And obviously it would be a lot of different scenarios would have to happen for that to, become important. But it is important in the sense that in the event that Assumption does not score here and Iola-Scandinavia gets it back, they score a touchdown, and now they're forced to go for 2 in order to take the lead rather than just having it after getting that 2-point conversion. So it does definitely shake things up. And we will send things away to a commercial break and be right back here on Zaleski Sports for what should be a great conclusion to this one.
After a couple years of this, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That's where Mid-State Technical College comes in. Got a passion for helping people? Maybe you like cars. Are you into science? Are you good with computers? No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options. Stop getting by and level up today.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Rapids. We have a good one on our hands as the Thunderbirds are ready to send it away once more, making it a game here. A quick drive down the field, only taking 2 minutes, 45 seconds off the clock. Still 6:15 left to go in this one as they're trying to mount this comeback. But they have a tough battle ahead with Assumption and their running game. This one sent short. And taking this one back, breaking out of one tackle, cutting back for a few more, and is not going to gain much more out of it. Good effort that time by Kalen Ott. And so out comes this Assumption offense. Have the ball at the 24. It's probably the furthest back they've been to start out a drive in this game, but have the potential to really salt away the rest of this clock if they're able to slowly and methodically work their way down the field like they have been in recent drives. Obviously, one thing you cannot do is let that ball go. No turnovers on this drive. And just trying to get some positive yardage every single play, making sure to not have those offensive holding calls and not be stopped behind the line. As Steinert will toss this away and just barely getting out of bounds past that line. A gain of about 1. That time for Camden Martin.
Short gain on the play, second down.
And you have to have your head on a swivel if you're a Thunderbird defender here. There are so many different ways that this Assumption team can get past you. You have to make sure that you don't let any of those happen. Able to get a couple more yards than I thought they were. It was actually a gain of 3. Eventually got one more foot in bounds before getting out. And running this one forward for another great gain. Not sure if they got the first down. And they got close to it. That's exactly what you want if you're Assumption. And they actually will give them the first down. Still good for Assumption. Would have wished, or they would have wished anyway, that they would have gotten that 3rd and short, because that would have made things a lot easier for running down this clock. But still, only 5 minutes now remaining in the game. On that last possession, we saw Camden Martin run for a long gain all the way into the end zone and make things that much more difficult for the Thunderbirds. And we'll see who has the ball with a chance to salt this one away, as this one is going to be run right up the middle by Kalen Ott. We've seen him get a little bit more work throughout the course of this one. 4:23 now remaining on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard, as we have a 2nd and 6. If you are the Thunderbirds, you're just trying to get some sort of impact play. See if you can bait them into turning back one more time. Get Steinert in the backfield, cutting back and forth and tricking him into running backwards for a loss of 5, something like that, to get a considerable amount of yards back for your team. And then, of course, and just like that, that's definitely something that they would love to have happen, a false start. And just like that, it goes from a 2nd and 7 to a 2nd and 12.
Delay a game penalty against the Royals.
And it's not quite a holding penalty, but certainly makes things more difficult. 2nd and 11, actually, from the 33-yard line.
2nd and about 11.
And the referee wants the clock to run, and it started running a little bit later than the referee wanted it to. So a few more seconds gained by the Thunderbirds. And Steinert trying to take it himself. He gets stopped right at the line. So with 3:22 left to go, there's a timeout called on the field. And it will be a Thunderbird timeout.
Braxton Steiner with a carry.
And so we will take a quick one with them and be right back here on Zaleski Sports.
At Ridgestop Exteriors, we're more than your average home improvement company. We're your neighbors, and for over 20 years, we've been trusted and proudly serving right here in your community. Customer service is our #1 goal. Call now for your free estimate.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Welcome back here to Wisconsin Rapids as we have an interesting situation here. Third and 11 from right around the 34-yard line, closer to a 3rd and 10, and Assumption trying to get a first down in a play. Can't imagine that they would go for it unless it's really close at this stage, backed up deep in their own territory. If they can't get it, it would allow the Thunderbirds 2 or more minutes to try and steal this game. And then another whistle blown. And then a timeout will be called on the Assumption side. So we'll take another step away and be right back here on Zaleski Sports.
Little Sprouts Learning Garden with 2 convenient central Wisconsin locations. Here's Brooke Sievers to tell us about it.
Little Sprouts has been around for almost 7 years here in Auburndale. In Rudolph, we've been open for about 2.5. We serve here in Auburndale, we have 6 weeks old up until 12-year-olds. And then in Rudolph, we have 1-year-olds up until 12-year-olds. The biggest thing that we do with them is we have play-based learning so that they learn through play with each other. And social skills are a huge part of what we do with them.
Find Little Sprouts Learning Garden on Facebook today.
Back here on Zaleski Sports, a reminder here that tonight's game brought to you by Home Furniture. Fill your home with the best from Home Furniture. Sofas, sectionals, beds, recliners, lighting, tables, rugs, and so much more. Home Furniture with locations on Grand Avenue in Wisconsin Rapids and Post Road in Plover. And also by Williams Plumbing and Heating, locally owned and operated right here in Wisconsin Rapids. For all of your plumbing and heating needs, why look anywhere else? Call Williams Plumbing and Heating or find them online at williamsplumbingwr.com. Solaris is your hometown fiber internet provider. Just like our athletes bring their best to the field, we bring our best to your home with lightning fast, reliable fiber internet that never quits. Stream, game, and connect without missing a beat. Get connected and stay connected at Solaris.net. So here we go, 3rd and just about 10. An opportunity for the Thunderbirds to stop this Assumption team, and they do it. A huge defensive stop, not only stopping them before the first down, but making it a distance that you just cannot try for when you're up by 6 this deep in your own territory. And just like that, the Thunderbirds come up clutch on defense. It was a tough sledding for them throughout the course of this one on the defensive side of the football, but all things considered, only allowing 26 points with how great this running game has been all season long. And now they have an opportunity to put the ball back in the hands of Jensen Rice and see what he can do. And a reminder here once again that tonight's game also brought to you by Carrie Van Eert State Farm. Let Carrie Van Eert with State Farm be your go-to for all of your insurance needs. Carrie and her staff are always there to help you understand your options and come away with the right coverage for you. That's Carrie Van Eert with State Farm in Wisconsin Rapids. Shouldn't financial advice focus on you, your goals, and your dreams? Your Modern Woodmen of America representative can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. Call Scott Paterick at 715-424-1873 to start the conversation. And so Assumption from all the way at the 42-yard line. We'll see what kind of field position change will happen here. Assumption hoping to get a good punt out there, and that one is absolutely shanked. It will take a pretty decent Assumption bounce to about the 42-yard line or 43-yard line, but that one did not get nearly as far as they wanted it to. That was a punt of about maybe 15 yards. And so just like that, the Thunderbirds are staring down right around 56, 57 yards to try and go all the way down the field and score. They have 3 minutes to do it. And like we mentioned, it was a huge thing that Assumption was able to stop them from getting that 2-point conversion, because that's now going to force them to either go for the extra point or the 2-point conversion on this potential touchdown, but still a long way to even get that touchdown. Here is Jensen Rice under pressure. He's going to be sacked. Hyped up there is Jaden Johnson corralling Jensen Rice. And ever since the start, or really the middle point of the second quarter, they have had an answer for Jensen Rice, understanding he was the main X factor of this team, knowing they had to get him down. Rice also battling a little bit of a ankle or lower leg injury too. He escapes pressure, has a wide open receiver. He's able to sidestep one defender, another one, and he is loose. Daylight, 20, 10, and he is going to be stopped. And no, he is not going to be, all the way to the house for the touchdown. Dawson Nuntz is able to take this one home for the biggest play of the game. It's all tied up, and now the second biggest play of the game, trying to take this lead. A timeout will be called by the Thunderbirds to talk this over. But what a play, as we knew the ball was potentially going to end up in Jensen Rice's hands, but he ends up throwing this one, gets it about 9 or 10 yards out, and Dawson Nuntz did the rest. And so we will send things away quickly before they attempt this second point conversion.
Is your business, church, or organization getting a fair deal on your copier contracts? Do you even know how much you're spending? Bauer & Fine Business Technologies has been in the office technology industry for 70 years. We have an award-winning service department, and customers love our fair and flexible service contracts. If you're currently a customer, thank you. If you currently work with one of our competitors, let's talk. We can tell you if you're overpaying or getting a good deal. BBT, we want to be the easiest vendor you work with. b-bt.com.
Welcome back here as the Thunderbirds just scored the game-tying touchdown. And now it is the incredibly important decision. Do you have enough confidence in any kicker on your team to try for the extra point, or are you going to go for two? It looks like they're going to go for two, because neither of these two teams really have a set kicker. The only kick attempt we've seen was by Assumption, and it was well too low and got blocked easily. So Assumption still on the other end with 2:18 left to play. We'll see what happens, but first things first, the Thunderbirds are going to try and take the lead here. And the Assumption side here is quiet, as trying to take this one in. Rice, he will get stopped. And what a defensive play. And it is Steinert. And you got to imagine there's a chip on his shoulder. He's been trying to out-battle Jensen Rice throughout the course of this game. He saw Rice with a deep touchdown throw and decided he wanted to take the game into his own hands. And now, with an opportunity here to lead his team and see if he can steal this one, still 2:18 left to go. You know, you see some of your momentum dissipate, but certainly not gone, as you still are the team with the ball in your hands as the last minutes tick away. Got to be smart with the football, but still can take a few risks to try and win this one outright. And so the Thunderbirds will send it away. This one gets muffed, or not muffed, squibbed, I mean. And all the way to the 43-yard line. Not sure if that was intentional. I know that the Thunderbirds probably wanted to squib it so it wasn't some long return, but that one was about 10 yards. That one might have qualified for an onside kick attempt, but obviously not trying to get that. Maybe trying to see if they could get the fumble, but I just don't feel like that would have been worth it. That one looked like it just was meant to go short and went even shorter than expected. That one is going to put things into Thunderbird territory. Just like that, 43 yards away from the score are the Assumption Royals, and still plenty of time with 2:14 left to go. Cornwell, and now it's going to be tossed to the outside to Martin. He's going to get about 2 or 3 before being forced out.
Camden Martin with the carry.
And it looks like that far line judge has it about the 39, and the main judge has it closer to the 42.
Pickup of 1 on the play. Second down.
And so it was a gain of only 1, actually. 2:07 still left on the Key Savings Bank scoreboard. Steinert's going to take it himself, and he is going to almost break free, and a potentially game-saving tackle there by Davis Anderson is he was 1 cut away from potentially being gone, but either way, that is still a big gain, a first down at the 32-yard line now, and now Assumption's kind of torn between we want to do everything we can to get this in the end zone, but we also don't want to give this ball back. Muscling forward for a gain of about 5 or 6, maybe even 7. That was Camden Martin. And they will let this clock continue to run, try and eat away enough clock where they still have some flexibility here. 1:30 left to go. Steinert taking it himself once more, and this time he's going to get close to the first down.
Baxter's trying to keep the ball.
And it looks like they are going to... a whistle blown here. Maybe the ref's wanting to talk about the spot here. The way it is spot, it looks right on that line. And we'll see if they want to do a measurement here. And it is a 3rd and very, very short.
3rd down and inches.
And so we'll see if Steinert wants to just kind of take it himself here, get the fresh set of downs. Instead, they're going to toss it onto the outside and getting the first down easily, a gain of 7 or 8. And eventually wrestled down. Looked like that was Kalen Ott on that run. And the
Carey will pick up a first down for the Royals.
Clock will stop. So he must have been wrestled out of bounds there. Didn't quite see from my vantage point. Or no, the clock will continue to run. 45 seconds left now. And now it's getting into dangerous territory. Assumption needs to be smart. Steinert is going to take it himself. Trying to get some blockers. He's not quite going to get where he needs to go, and they're going to call a timeout here. He gets stopped behind the line
Short loss on that play.
for a loss of about 2. So you got a 2nd and 12 from the 18-yard line. We're going to stay right with you to talk about the potential conclusion of this game, because you're at the 18-yard line with 32 seconds left. And Assumption now has only 1 timeout, which is a major factor. So you've got one potential run of, let's say, 4 or 5 seconds off the clock, maybe 6. You take that timeout, and you then maybe have 2 plays tops with the remaining time on the clock, unless you start to throw it here. So we're looking at potentially 3, maybe at the most 4 plays remaining for this team if they're able to be incredibly efficient. But they might have to go to the air at least once or twice here to keep time on the clock, because you now have a 2nd and 12. And this is where they were trying to do some clock management, and you didn't want to let too much time be left on the clock for the Thunderbirds, but at the same time, you want to make sure you have enough time with how run-heavy of an offense you are, and it was just such a tough thing to navigate. You got an I formation with Cornwell and Ott in the backfield. Steinert fakes it, trying to take it himself, weaving past some defenders, but he is going to be stopped right around the 15-yard line. 23 seconds left. They won't take their timeout left. And a timeout will now be charged to Assumption. Kind of a tough situation there. They saw a player kind of on a knee, not fully down. The refs weren't going to take their own timeout off of that, and so they were forced to take the timeout as the player was slow to get up. So now you have 20 seconds left, no timeouts remaining, 3rd and 10. From the 17, you have the flexibility of understanding. You don't want to do anything too rash here. This is not the end of the game if you aren't able to get this. It is tied at 26. And so you're kind of torn between, do I try and throw this to the end zone? You know, not a lot of passing attempts by this team during this game, but you also don't want to, have the ball get batted up and intercepted. You don't want this intercepted in the far end of the end zone for a potential pick six. You don't want to do anything that results in you losing this game at zeros in regulation. But you also want to give yourself an opportunity here at the 16-yard line. There's multiple ways you can get this win right here and right now. And Jensen Rice in this Thunderbirds offense just caught fire on the previous possession once more. They scored twice in a row, and it feels like if you don't score here, they are going into the next period with a little bit of momentum. And they are going to try a field goal with 20 seconds left on a 3rd and 10. They're going to try for it, and they're going to fake it. Steinert trying to find the open receiver, and they are not going to get the first down. And
pass is complete.
That is, so I almost lost track of what was happening myself, and I almost forgot about that rule. You can still pretend to try for the field goal, and if it's a fake field goal on 3rd down and you don't get it, that still does make it a 4th down. It's not a change in possession if you declare a field goal. So now a field goal, another fake, and he's going to try and throw this one, and it's also going to be incomplete. And the Thunderbirds saw that from a mile away, and just a wild way for this 4th quarter to potentially end. Rather than just deciding to go for a couple different passes, you got a 3rd down and a potential 4th down to pass this ball outright. You decide to pass it through the fake field goal, which gives you potential player wide open, but if there isn't a potential player wide open, then you have absolutely no outlet. So interesting decision both ways. I mean, this Assumption team, it was clear that they did not have a kicker that had that potential to nail even an extra point kick. It's just not the way it is in high school football. And so I feel like the Thunderbirds saw that a mile away. They knew exactly what was going to happen, and they saw that. And you try and do a few things differently. You try and mix things up a little bit. But based on what happened, I honestly would have preferred to see Assumption run the ball rather than what they did. But you've got some big play potential that I feel like I'd rather just have the ball in Steinert's hand and not have to go through the fake field goal method. I'd rather just have the ball in his hands, see what he can do. If you let him throw the ball, he's got 2 potential plays to throw the ball, and he's got some good receivers, even if they don't see action a whole lot. Either way, it was an opportunity for them to try and do something crazy to win this game, knowing that they still had a tie game to work with. And so we have 6 seconds left on the clock with a tie game. Rice trying to lead his team to do something improbable here from the 12-yard line. But most likely one play here at the end of the fourth. And Rice will try and run with it here. He is going to cut back, escape one defender, and he has potential daylight. Trying to outrace a defender, but he won't quite get there. It almost felt for a second like that was going to be one of the most incredible finishes I've ever seen. But instead, we are headed to some extra football. And so while these two teams talk over their battle strategies, we will go to a break and be back here on Zaleski Sports.
Meda Custom Apparel, your local source for quality, custom decorated clothing and products. Discover a wide range of products from corporate casual wear to team uniforms, promotional items, sporting goods, and awards. Don't settle for less. With our in-house production, we will make your name or event stand out with custom sports jerseys, branded cooler bags, and personalized can coolers. Celebrate team success with custom awards and promotional items. At Meda Custom Apparel, we put your brand first. Explore your options today at MedaCustom.com.
Hey, you're tuned in to Better Halves.
Skip, I love my hometown, and I want a health plan that feels the same way. So, what are your favorite local date spots?
Oh, yeah, I know like all the date spots in Eau Claire.
Jane, I'm Steve from security. I've lived here in Wisconsin my whole life, and that means I understand your health coverage needs better.
By the way, Doug, it's Eau Claire. I have a dozen Eclairs in my dressing room.
Take your valuable possessions from outdoors to indoors with help from ShedsDelivered.com. It's your one-stop shop for sheds, barns, cabins, garages, greenhouses, chicken coops, and hunting blinds, all crafted by skilled Amish artisans. Headquartered in Loyal, Rod and April make it easy. Just visit ShedsDelivered.com to design your perfect structure. With short lead times and free delivery and installation, Sheds Delivered is the smart choice for outdoor storage. That's ShedsDelivered.com. Go today.
Well, we welcome you back here to action here from Wisconsin Rapids, as we have now hit overtime. We have seen an absolutely incredible finish to this game, as at one point it was a 14-point lead, or excuse me, a 12-point lead for Assumption, and Iola-Scandinavia scored 2 touchdowns to tie it up, and those two-point conversions they were unable to convert on were everything for this Assumption team. And so we have the Wisconsin State rules here. It's kind of the 25-yard line game. Each team has possession from the 25-yard line. And then they will continue to go this way, just kind of 1st and 10 from the 25 and typical play, as getting stonewalled here, and it's a turnover. The ball is turned over, and Assumption has the opportunity now to win this game. And before I even have a chance to explain how the rules work fully, Assumption has an opportunity here with the fumble. And long story short, each team gets one possession to start things off, and that was Iola-Scandinavia's possession. And now that they fumbled the ball, Assumption has an opportunity here. If they can score in any way, they will come away with this victory. And so they have all the momentum, all the opportunity out in front of them. 25 yards for the win. as this one will be handed off, and a solid gain of about 4. Assumption deciding to be smart here, understanding they don't have to get all of this in 1 or 2 plays. If they can get 4-4-3, 4-4-3, and then a few more yards, that's all they need to do to win this game. They don't need to go for it all. If they see something that's wide open, they can take it, but for the most part, stick to what you know, stick to what this offense knows how to do best to try and go out and win this game. As this one's going to be handed off here to Cornwell. As this will be a 3rd and relatively short 3rd and 2. Obviously, I would expect Assumption to go into 4-down territory here. And each play at this point is the biggest play of the game, just the way it is at this point, as this one's going to be handed off and past the first down line. Camden Martin once again putting his stamp on this game. And the Royals are 15 yards away now. It has been a well-fought game on both sides, and it's one of those where you have to feel like no matter who loses this game, it feels like they didn't deserve to lose. But Assumption on the doorstep at the 14-yard line, actually. They continue to line up with Cornwell in the backfield. Steinwell will take it himself, or excuse me, Steinert. Combine those two names as they'll now take it within the 10-yard line.
Picks up 5 on the play.
At the 9-yard line.
Second down.
We've kind of felt this one-on-one battle, it feels like, between Jensen Rice and Braxton Steinert throughout the course of this game as quarterbacks, trying to have the ball in their hands and feel like they were the one that outbattled the other. Steinert with an opportunity to do just that. And a handoff here all the way down to the 5-yard line. Cornwell with another nice carry. And that makes it a 3rd and 1. Incredibly close here. And this Iola-Scandinavia team that has had their backs against the wall defensively all game long, absolutely exhausted, absolutely gassed. And a timeout will be called. They need absolutely everything that they have left in the tank, as this Assumption faithful on our side of the field up here in the press box, we can hear their energy as they have been here through a couple different rain showers, throughout multiple different lead changes. They were down pretty much until the end of the 3rd quarter. They finally took the lead and did not relinquish it. They let it get tied up, but they had the lead or tie at that point throughout the rest of the game. A reminder here that tonight's game is brought to you by Ski's Meat Market, Made a Custom, Key Savings Bank, Culligan Water, and Express Employment. And we actually do have a player that is down. I didn't realize that. I apologize. I was talking through that. But it does look like it was just another cramp. Steinert has cramped now multiple times in this game, as he has tried to will his team for a victory. Coming into this game, the 20th ranked team by Zaleski Sports. And I talked about, blocking out that noise while still carrying that momentum with them. And it feels like they've done that throughout the course of this game. And so here we go, 3rd and 1 from the 5-yard line. Cornwell in the backfield. They will hand this one off to Cornwell. He will dive for the end zone. And it looks like he was just short. It's still a first down. It's still about as close as you can get.
Except a first and goal for the Royals.
At the 1 yard line. Feels almost automatic for this Assumption team, but nothing is automatic in football. And so they're going to try and hurry up to the line and finish off this game. Steinert with Cornwell in the backfield once more. Steinert, Cornwell, he runs for it, and that's a winner! Assumption has battled all game long. 2 straight gritty wins for this Assumption team. They improve to 2-1 on the season. And they take down this Thunderbird team. It was a back and forth affair throughout the course of this one. And what a finish. And so we will try and run down there and grab our star player, Braxton Steinert, and the head coach right after this. It's the Key Savings Bank postgame show. Key Savings Bank proudly brings you tonight's postgame show. You'll feel right at home from the moment you walk through the door at Key Savings Bank. Enjoy all the perks of working with your local community bank and experience it for yourself by stopping in or online at keysavingsbank.com.
We have something that we're trying to create at Key Savings Bank called Outward Energy. We don't just want to have the doors open, our members walk through. We want to be where they are. We go to meet them, we participate in their events. We think that's vitally important for us to show that Key Savings Bank is a part of the communities that we're in.
We received a very positive reaction from our community. On average, we had 250 to 300 kids alone that entered our building for the Halloween party. That didn't include the adults, grandparents, parents that brought the children. It's wonderful to be out in our community grocery shopping with my Key Savings Bank apparel, and families walk up to me and say, "Hey, I attended your Halloween party."
So about a month ago, I was approached by Sheriff Becker of Wood County Sheriff's Department, and he asked me if we'd want to participate in the Back the Badge bench press meet. So Key Savings Bank sponsored, had a $500 sponsorship to that, and I myself participated in that. And it was a really great experience. There was about 40 different people that participated throughout Wood County and actually the state. So with the Sheriff's Department obviously doing so much for us and throughout the community, it was just our way of giving back.
And now when I tell my friends and family what I'm doing or what I do every day or what involvements I'm doing, like, "Oh, that's the bank that offered the Halloween party. That's the bank that does the Christmas party. That's the bank that sponsors these golf events." So our awareness alone has just become amazing in the last year.
Key Savings Bank participates in a lot of these events. We love to do it. We love to know the community and the other businesses within the community. It's rewarding to see smiling faces. The kids event, when you bring them pizza, there's not just one winner, there's multiple winners. Cheese pizza is one of the coolest things that these kids love. And just seeing the smiling faces is outstanding. Probably the funnest event that we do is what you see behind me here is our coloring contest for local kids. It's a fun event. We do a lot of fun stuff with it on our Facebook page. The voting goes nuts because it's the community that votes for it. And at the end, there's a lot of participation. So that's the best event around.
We had Thursday grill outs. We did that. We were raising money for the Roan Canine Division. We set up in mid-June to have grill outs each and every Thursday all the way through till the middle of August.
Numerous amount of golf outings where we raise money specifically for that event through our whole sponsorships and games that we play.
My employees right now are all very active in participating in literally hundreds of events over the last 2 years that make Key Savings Bank a part of this community. We think that's very important.
Welcome back here to Wisconsin Rapids. It is raining out here, and it's also raining W's for the Assumption football team. And I have, of course, here with Jeff Sullivan and starting quarterback here, Braxton Steinert. I'll start here with you, head coach. We'll switch things around here real quick. This is the second straight week that I'm talking about mental fortitude.
Yep.
And this kind of felt in a different way where you were the better team in this whole game in my eyes. Sometimes things go the wrong way, and you have to just bounce back.
Yep.
Momentum was not on your side, but you got that huge 2-point conversion denied, and you were able to come right back down.
Yep.
And that forced fumble was huge as well.
Oh.
Talk about the big moments and how it's both the little things and the big things that make this team what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we practice all week, and our guys are going to do their jobs as far as what their keys are on defensively. I mean, if they do their jobs and are in the right position, they can be confident, they can play fast, and they make things happen. And then, you know, for the most part, all night they did. You know, the quarterback over there, he's as slippery as anybody I've seen, and we contained him. But he also busted some, you know, and we were able to keep the bus under the contain. And proud of our guys. They played their tails off. You know, there's a bunch of big plays. I mean, everybody, you know, our whole little engine that could, you know, 19 of us, whatever we have out here, all came together and played as a team, a band of brothers, and that's what it takes to get the W.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a game where so many people that I could talk to after this game, but have to narrow it down. But we'll talk to you, Braxton, here. And, you know, your head coach mentioned Jensen Rice. You know, I'm sure it's a little bit of a chip on your shoulder whenever.
Not too bad either. He's a little elusive in
Well,
there.
that's why I'm interviewing him right now. But, you know, you've got a quarterback like that who puts a chip on your shoulder. He runs for 2 straight deep touchdowns to start out the game. And you look at your team and say, it's not always about hitting the home runs. It's about winning the game. And that's exactly what you did. Talk about what you did to flip that script, to change that narrative, and to get your team the win tonight.
I think it was important to keep my team focused and lead them, and not just let them go out there and just do whatever, go off of the plan, the game plan. We stick with the game plan. We practice hard all week. I think it was good. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'll have you do one more thing for me. I'll give you the microphone, step to the side, give you a 1, 2, 3, and you'll say, I'm Braxton Steinert, and I'm in the house.
I'm Braxton Steinert, and I'm in the house.
Perfect. Thank you.